Good morning, gamers. Welcome back. So, my party has been in Barovia. They're doing the Ravenloft setup. So, I have been looking at undead and undead-esque creatures that would fill that setting. These collectors, these creatures of the night. So, I found one, and, well, let's just take a look at it. Right? I am the AMDM Lee. This is my cup of coffee, and you're watching How Do You Want to Brew This? The coffee was cold, and I'm out. So, going through the list, I have seen lots of creatures on here. This one, by the pure name of it, has piqued my interest. I love the concept of death being a neutral entity in game. Most D&D games, most of the death gods are always depicted as evil or things along that nature. Now, in our own personal campaign, our god of death is a neutral god. Anything that disrupts the cycle of death, think of it like a path of the grave for a cleric, where these guys aren't going around killing things because, no, they don't like the undead. Those types of stuff. The abomination type things. They are neutral in the ways of death. There's a natural cycle. And, well, okay, so I found this, and it just doesn't quite sit right. This is one of those things that, out of everything we've gone over, I think this one requires the most work to put in game. So let's take a look at it. So what we have here is a Reaper. Now, the first thing that pops up to my mind, it's a medium undead, unaligned. I like that. It's unaligned. True neutral. But the armor class. Now, if you stat something in D&D, your players are going to kill it. Pure and simple. If it's been statted, that's why you don't see stats of the gods in the new books. Old school D&D, you saw the stats of gods. They were there, and the players would kill them. That was a goal of a lot of old school. I want to get powerful enough to kill the gods. Not so much in the new setups. Something was stuck. So, the first thing I have a problem with is the armor class 50. It says armor class 50 Reaper armor. Now, I did a search through D&D Beyond, and I could not find any reference to Reaper armor. So this bothers me. I think this guy wanted to create a Grim Reaper character, but didn't want to actually have his characters be able to defeat it. So why stat it out? That's the thing I have. Don't stat something unless you want your players to be able to kill it at some point. Second thing on here is the hit points. Hit points, it says 20, and then it's a 20d8 plus 20. So that leaves a minimum of 40 to 180 hit points. That's actually not bad, but the ones they have there is 20. That's not going to work. I do like the 20d8 Plus 20. I think that's a good, reasonable hit points, especially when you compare it to the Tarrasque, which has got 33d20 plus 300. Tarrasque is dangerous. So if you're making a Reaper, and it's supposed to be the Grim Reaper, comparing it to the Tarrasque, that's a slightly. Now the Tarrasque is the unkillable, so to speak. Speed 40, fly 50. And here's another thing that gets me. It is the stats. 30, 20, 25, 30, 30, 30. If you stat something, that's just way too powerful. Maybe if this is, again, don't stat your gods, and this is supposed to be the Grim Reaper, why is it statted out, man? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So then we move into the skills. Persuasion 30, stealth 20. Okay, I can see the stealth. Stealth's fine. Persuasion plus 30. I don't know if I'd put the persuasion quite that high. It's just your death. How much more persuasion do you need? Vulnerabilities, radiant. From my game perspective, why radiant damage? Why necrotic damage? Maybe force or something else, but those I just don't think. I don't think radiant. Damage resistance. Okay. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. We can do that. No problem. Damage immunities. Necrotic and poison. I could definitely see necrotic and poison from that. Conditions: exhausted, frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, and restrained. I could see that as well. I'll stick with that. Senses: dark vision, 60 feet. No, they don't need dark vision. They need true sight. Forget the dark vision. Go with true sight on that one. It'll come out so much better. Passive perception 30. I might drop that down a little bit. Along with the stats, I think it's just too high. Pick a couple of stats, bump them up high. The rest of them, keep them low. Keep them within your average. It understands all languages within 20 feet, as well as Reaper and Common. I think as a creature of death, all languages. That's all you need to do. Whenever it speaks, it is heard in the person's native tongue. Think about it. Challenge rating 30. I understand that. That is a high challenge rating, and that's what it should be. Now we're going to move into the abilities and skills. Here's where things, it looks like the creator of this, Grim 66548, copied and pasted. Because instead of calling it a Reaper, it says the shadow can move through a space as narrow as an inch without squeezing. Shadow stealth. While in dim light, it takes the hide action as a bonus action, and it has a weakness in sunlight. It's death, so why does it have a sunlight weakness? People don't die in the daytime. Strength drain. I would put this as a hit point drain. Melee attack +4 with those stats. That's not going to be a +4. Sorry, just not going to happen. It's going to be a lot higher than that. There has to be a balance in there. Reach 5 foot, one creature, and only doing 2d6 necrotic while reducing the strength score by 1d4. The target dies if reduced to 0, if the strength is reduced to 0, otherwise the reduction lasts until a long rest. Or a short or long rest. If an evil person dies from the new attack, a new shadow arises from the corpse in 1d4 hours later. Again, that's a shadow. Take what you like from it. But if you're going to post on here, guys, come on. You got to do a little bit more work. It's good that somebody's putting something out, that you're putting it out. You're trying to spark the imagination, and I love that. But just a cut and paste I'm sorry. First of all, I'm very passionate about dealing with Grim Reaper. That's just who I am as a person. So when you stat out one of my favorite figures, we have problems. Alright, so when the Reaper is about to die, it has a 50% chance to turn invisible. Why not just keep it invisible? Or in the ethereal plane and do a critical on a target. So it has 50% chance that it's going to crit and turn invisible. Let's switch that up where, because with your hit points and your armor class, that Reaper's not going to die. So you have to drop that down some. So how about like once it gets either a legendary action, gets an extra attack of any, give it the strength drain on any attack that hits it, can cause a strength drain. So if you attack death, you take a possibility of losing strength. Now here's the part I do like. If a member of the party is about to die or has low health, they can see the Reaper. So even though if it's invisible, they'll be able to see death, or an agent of death. So there are some things in there. The Grim Reaper is a character who represents death. He looks like a skeleton, wears a long black cloak and hood, and carries a scythe. There's no scythe strikes in here, which there should be. There should be a weapon strike of some sort. So there's a few things that need to be dealt with on this, and I love the fact that somebody has put some work into doing it. It just needs a little more finessing. Unfortunately, I can't. I was originally going to mark this one down, vote it down, but it has actually inspired me to make some changes. So I'm not going to vote this down. I am going to add it to my collection. I will not vote it up, but I will add it to my collection. This way I can look at it and I can tweak it for my own personal uses, which is what really anybody should do. So what changes would you make to the Reaper class, the Reaper monster? Leave the comments below. And guys, that's all I've got. So if you like these videos, please click on the like button. If you think someone else would like them, please click on the share button. Every like's an inspiration, every share's an advantage, and every subscription is an experience point. Help me gain 300 experience points so I can get to second level. As always, the AMDM does hereby authorize you, the viewer, to gain 10 experience points for every video that you share. Just tell your DM the AMDM said so. That's all I've got for now, guys. Go forth and roll some dice.